Welcome to another video absolutely full of craziness, right? That's what we're here for. Entertainment. I want you guys to just have a good time listening to some bullshit. That's it. And in today's video, actually, I want to talk to you guys about how I'm investing in the stock market. I already explained to you how I look at everything. I already told you where the economy is according to my view. And again, you don't have to agree on anything. This is not to convince you of everything. If it sounds within you, then awesome. And if he doesn't, fuck it, dude. This dude's fucking weird. He's a Mexican guy that barely finished high school. So just know that. I didn't go to college. I didn't study anything. I'm just a retard telling you a bunch of shit that I'm doing. That's it. Nothing more. And I hope you can use this or use it against, use the information upside down, kind of like a Jim Cramer style thing, so that you can probably make more money. Who knows? Now, it's very important that I tell you this. I'm not investing in the stock market. I'm not putting all my money in. My life depends on it. That's absolutely not right. I am investing, however, a lot of I'm going to say most of the cash that I have or I have currently, and I keep making more money every month. So I have several sources of income every single month. I make a living and I have enough to save and also invest. That needs to be very important. And I'm not doing this so that it can save my life either. And I don't think you should either, because the moment you go in and instead of just doing it because it's going to be fun and it's going to be a great adventure and it's going to fulfill you and you're going to do it because you love it and you just want to become better at it, you're doing this because you're like, dude, I need to make money by next year. You're fucked. This is never going to work for you. Never, 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 never. My point of view on this is going to be long-term. And the reason why I'm talking long-term, I'm talking about a timeline of 5 to maybe 10 years. And the reason why is because back in the day, if you invested in a company, let's say $1,000, and I'm sure you've heard this, right? When they show you, if you would have invested in Apple $1,000, you would have $7 million right now, right? How many of you guys would have has heard that? So in the past, it used to take 30 years average to invest like $1,000 in one of those companies at the bottom, blah, 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 to make $1 million. But the speed of these prices going up has increased so much that you can do those type of returns in less than 10 years. Straight up. That's what's going on. If you would have invested in Coinbase in the IPO, you would have made exactly $1 million already in it was like 9 years, I think it took. So based on that, based on where everything is going, and also the fact that there's not going to be a lot of businesses left, makes me just concentrate my vision into certain companies that are within the trend. So, for example, this is not the only thing that I'm invested in. You guys know that I used to be a real estate investor. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to buy a house anymore. I'm going to buy a house, but what I'm not going to do is I'm going to buy commercial real estate anymore, because there's no point. Until I figure out what the point is, and a lot of experts that watch CNN, Fox, and MSNBC are going to tell me, you're not investing in commercial real estate. Everything is really cheap. Everyone's going back to work. And also, they're converting the buildings into residential buildings. You can't do that. It's not that easy, because those commercial real estate buildings are meant to be used by everyone at the same time. And what I mean by that is, the elevator is always working it's very inconvenient if it's an apartment building. The bathroom situation, there's only bathrooms on one side, two sides. There's not bathrooms everywhere. There's not water coming into every single one of the rooms that's there. It's a mess. If you want to redo a building to make it be a residential building, you're going to spend even more money. And I just don't get it. And at the same time, I'm not going to invest in real estate to rent it out to people, because I do believe in my heart that everyone's going to be broke as fuck and he's going to be receiving UBI, universal basic income. That means the government's going to send you a nice little fucking check and you're going to be like, woo, I'm going to give it back to all the rich people. And that's what I'm counting on completely. So I don't fully understand how the real estate market will continue to appreciate over time in the same way that it did over the past 2 decades, right? So that's a disclaimer. I also have invested my money in startups. And invest in more startups, and startups that are already making money. A lot of people are going to message me, I have a great idea, dude. It's like an Uber, but for businesses. I don't give a fuck. You're making money, fucking call me. And you need to expand, and that's why you need the money. Awesome. You're not making any money. You have an idea. I don't care. Like that's just what I do. Okay. The other thing that I do is I invest in my own companies and have my own companies, and that's also going really well. So I'm diversified. I'm everywhere. And also, like I said, I have different sources of income. Every single month, I get a check big enough to cover my expenses and then have some to save and have some to invest. And I think everyone should get there first. Okay. I need to say it because, goddamn, so many people just go all in, lose all of their fucking money because of fear, and then you're done. And remember, in this world, what they want you to do is fear things. So if you feel fear within you, you're fucked and you're never going to do well. So you need to invest money that you're like, I don't give a fuck if it goes to zero. And that's the only attitude to do it and to love it. Whatever the consequence is, which you know is going to be good within you because you have no fear, it's going to be great. But also, I'm not going to stress about it every single night and think about it. I'm just not. So let's start with this. I started investing this year. And the reason why I started investing this year was at the end of last year, I was already on the market. And I invested in many different companies. I invested in natural gas when it got to the bottom of it. And I'm not saying this so that you, oh, what a great investor. I'm a fucking idiot. All right. I'm just giving you a little history on where I'm coming from so that you understand where I'm going. That's it. Nothing else. Not looking for credit. I'm not good at anything I do. Ask my wife. She'll tell you. She'll fucking tell you. So in 2024, I invested in natural gas when it was at the bottom, and we did I did it in my channel in Spanish, did really well. We invested in Coinbase at 120 something dollars. I think it was 126. We started, and Coinbase has gone to 400 and something dollars. What else did we invest in? We invested in Tesla. We invested in Rivian with the pops that they had. We did great, and I'm sure I did other companies, but those, and also I'm investing in Roblox, which has done great since the $26 bottom. Invested also in another company called Oklo, which is Sam Altman's company. So you need to invest in the devil, right? Because the money is the devil and the devil is Sam Altman, one of the devils. So you got to give him money. You got to give him money and he'll pay you back. He'll pay you back, that motherfucker. What else did I invest in? And obviously some cryptos. So towards the end of 2024, when I saw the crazy, there's a Trump rally and everyone's really excited. And then people started telling me, this market can come down. Donald Trump's going to be amazing for the market. I was like, all right, guys, I'm out of here. I made a video saying I'm out of here. Let's see what happens. Everyone said that the rally was going to continue to go. And unfortunately, January, February, March, the market just took a massive mega shit. And he took a mega shit. And the narrative then was tariffs, right? You guys remember that. So when I started seeing that Tesla and all these companies came down to about, it was like 50%, 55% down from when they were, I was like, you know what? I made another video saying, this is a good idea to start investing in the market. And at the same time, Donald Trump came out and said, this is going to be a great recession. It's going to be one of the best recessions. I've seen lots of recessions. Wow. Lots of recessions. And when he said that, I was like, all right, this is my cue. I'm going to go in. Because what they are trying to do is scare people out of the market so that no one makes money, really. That's the fucking game. This market is not meant for anybody to make money other than the people that have a ton of money. That's it. That's how it works. So knowing that, I was like, all right, let's start buying all this shit. So I bought Tesla. I'm only going to give you that example at like 214, which was, I actually paid 216, which was like the latest bottom that we saw. And I only put my first entry. So I split all of my entries. That means if I'm going to invest $1 million into Tesla, I'm going to split it in three, 333, 333, and $333,000, right? And I'm going to find my levels. And I'm going to find those levels if I'm going to do it with technical analysis. You can do it with technical analysis. You can do it through, the PE ratio of a company. If you're very smart and know everything about that, that's awesome. Or you can do a more basic one, which is, let me look at how much Tesla went down in the in the down markets, basically. And the percentages are like 76%, 66%, 55% sounded pretty good. So I took it, right? So just based on those things, you can create an analysis and say, that's what I want to do. But most important than anything right now is I'm all cash, except I have like a few positions floating because I bought too cheap. And I'm betting that the market's going to go lower than those positions that I purchased already. And a lot of people right now are going to say, that's impossible. Market's going to continue to go up. Inflation's coming back. All the shit that they tell you in the news, right? That's awesome. Keep listening. And if that's working for you. And on the other side, I just don't think that's going to be the case. And a lot of people also got educated on the fact that money printing and cutting interest rates is good. It's a good thing. And everyone's expecting it and wanting it. And we'll touch that later. So everyone's just like, everyone's waiting for tomorrow. Jerome Powell's going to come out and tell everyone what he's going to do. And everyone's already fucking bricked up, just waiting to listen to everything, getting hyped up, looking at the market with a fucking pullback for ants. And everyone's already freaking out. Is this the beginning of a fucking downfall? Blah, 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 blah. Now, while I do think there's going to be a market collapse, I think that's going to happen in the last quarter of this year or the first quarter of 2026. And by the way, if you like big economic cycles, because everything in life is just a circle, dude. If you haven't noticed, it's just a circle and it has new characters as time goes by and new scenarios, but it's a circle. So the economy is no different. We had a pandemic in I hate saying that. We had one in 1900, like in the 1920s. Then we had one in the 2020s. We had the Great Depression in 1920, late 1920s to 1930s, blah, blah, blah. All of that, all of this shit is kind of like repeating itself right now. The Industrial Revolution that happened also on the back of that. Also, we had tariffs, by the way. When we had the big market collapse, you have tariffs there in the Great Depression. And the reason why you do tariffs and you create and restructure everything is simple. Everyone's broke. So you can change how much a country is going to make working with other countries without prices going up, even though on TV, and I'm sure everyone here that's watching MSNBC and all that shit is like, no, prices are going up. Sounds good. Sounds absolutely great. Awesome. If you believe that, do exactly the opposite of what I'm doing. That's from the heart. I'm telling you this. If you think everything that I'm telling you is the opposite way, do exactly the opposite of me. Because it's in your heart. Why would you not do that, right? So what I think is we're in the same scenario right now that we were back then. And also, it's very important for everybody to know that even when there's something happening, the news just says, no, it's not happening. And people go, no, it's not happening. There could be a monster right there with a big dick just hanging around, like walking around the streets that's like 80 feet tall. And you're like, holy fuck, there's a monster with a humongous dick right there. And the news goes, no, there's no monster. That's just an illusion. Everyone will say that's an illusion. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's how everything works. That's how everyone's reacting right now. This is what makes it so easy for me, because when you make money on the stock market, some other people are losing money and you're getting their shares, right? For cheaper prices. They're selling at the bottom, you're buying the bottom, and then you go up and those people become poorer and poorer. So it's a zero-sum game. So someone's going to win. Someone's going to win, and hopefully that's going to be you. So with that said, I'm expecting a market crash towards last quarter of this year, first quarter of next year. Now, that's the prediction, and I'm sticking to that I've had since late 2023. And the only thing that I regret about saying that is the timing being so square. Now, I could nail it. I'm not going to win anything out of nailing it. I nailed the exit. I nailed the repurchase, and hopefully I'll re-nail the, not the secretary, but the exit again. Well, no, I'm not going to exit now. I'm just waiting for everything to go down, actually. And that's hopefully what I'm going to nail, and then nail the bottom yet again of everything. That's what I'm hoping for. It's really hard to do this. Really hard to do this. I'm not waiting to say like the example that I say out loud is Tesla, because I was so public about it. When I bought Tesla at 216, which was 114 I wanted to buy, but my order didn't click in. I bought a market order and it was 216. When I bought Tesla at that point, it hasn't been a year since I've had that position. So if I sell right now at a profit, I'm going to have to pay a lot of taxes, and I don't want to pay a lot of taxes, right? So you want to keep everything over a year in your investment account, at least if you're going to pull some money out. That way, if you make $1 million of profit, you're only going to have to pay $150,000 worth of taxes instead of $370,000 worth of taxes, right? Or whatever the fuck it is, and according to your tax bracket and all that shit. So that's my plan. That's what I'm doing. I want to be clear about that. And the reason why I think there's going to be a market collapse in late this year, third quarter of this year and end of next year, it's because during the pandemic, I paid a lot of attention of how long it took people to feel rich and how long it took people to go broke. And the process takes time, right? So I understood that. Before, it was very hard for me to gauge timing. Like it's almost impossible to gauge timing. And again, this is why I'm saying like, fuck, I don't like that I put a date on it, because legitimately, even if it doesn't happen, then the trajectory of what I'm saying will happen. I believe it in my heart, period. So even like, for example, if it happens on the second quarter of 2026 and the market dumps, then I'm not going to put my money in the market, because the circumstances have changed. Unless something changes in the economy, I'm not going in anymore. I'm in, and I have a lot of profit in the positions that I'm in, and that's great. But I'm not going in again before it corrects tremendously. And the reason why I'm saying it's going to correct is simple. People are broke as fuck. Again, you can hear the economy so hot, and there's a lot of great things about the economy. It's going great. It's going fantastic. If you ask me, a lot of people come and ask me about the economy, and I say, it's going great, right? So all of that things on TV, Jerome Powell, the economy is so hot, the unemployment is great, blah, blah, blah. It's all fucking a stupid way of measuring the economy. You go around, you look at yourself and say, is everything more expensive? Yes. Do I have less money compared to before? Absolutely. Just based on how much prices went up, etc. Right? And also, are my fellow friends, business entrepreneurs that I know, and all these business owners that I know, having a really hard time right now? Yes. That's all that matters to me. Now you can tell me all the metrics from CNBC and CNN and Fox News and all this shit. That's awesome. What I'm saying, if you're following the metrics and what I'm telling you is completely stupid, do the opposite of what I'm telling you, so that you can also play this game in your own way, and hopefully you'll be right. I really mean it. So with that in mind, the other thing that's leading me to believe that that's going to be the case is when we had the last president here, and I'm not going to get into who's the president and who's not. I don't care about that. I think that's just for retards, for people to fight over something, because it's so stupid either way. So the last president, what he did was he gave everyone, dude, you cannot pay your rent and you'll be cool. You cannot pay your mortgage. You're going to be cool. Dude, you don't even have to pay your car payment. You'll be cool. None of this shit's going to go into your credit report. Everything's frozen. And also, on top of that, you have student loans. Don't worry about it. I'm going to forgive some, which taxpayers will pay for. And then I'm not going to charge anyone that. So that policy has changed. Now they're starting to charge people their student loans again, which is a mega factor in everyone's wealth around America, because most people are broke as fuck. And most people believe the stupidity of you have to go to college to be someone, and you have to get in debt to learn something that's irrelevant right now and that you might not even like, but spend all of your money, and it's the hardest debt to get rid of. It's actually impossible to get rid of it unless you die. This is the only thing that without bankruptcy doesn't go away. So it's important to know these things. The other thing is high interest rates and people not being able to access capital for cheap, which is when lower interest rates are around, when you can get a car for nothing, your car payment is nothing, your house payment is nothing. That's not happening right now. It's completely the opposite. And it's happened for a long time. And the best thing about it is, and to me, remember, I look at the news and I look at the narrative as what they want people to think. So right now, people live in a massive contradiction themselves. I'm sure you hear, or probably you think, the Fed needs to lower rates. How many people have heard that, right? It's everywhere. The Fed's going to lower rates. But then at the same time, everyone's like, inflation is crazy. We can't have more inflation. Those two things don't go like in the same world. Like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. People are like, the big print is coming. But at the same time, they're saying inflation's coming. So which one is it? The big print or inflation? It's both. It's a big print that's going to cause more inflation. That's awesome. Now, if there's going to be a big print that's causing more inflation, that means that's going to benefit everyone, right? Cool. Because they're going to give everyone money just again, like in 2020, because that's the only thing people remember right now. Remember, they're using our memory against us. They're destroying your attention span, because that destroys, in fact, your ability to retain things in memory. They are. This is why you have TikToks. This is why you have Reels. This is why you have short form content everywhere, so that you can absorb anything and don't learn anything. And the biggest way I can describe this is 2022, Elon Musk buys Twitter, and then Mark Zuckerberg opens an app called Threads, and everyone's like, all right, everyone's going to leave X, everyone's going to leave Twitter, and it's going to go there. And it's the end of Elon Musk and the end of Twitter. 2 years, nothing happened. Obviously, X just got bigger and better, and then it spun off XAI, made a fuck ton of money, even more than Twitter, etc. So Elon Musk made more money than God through that deal. 2 years later, Elon Musk is a Nazi. So what's going to happen? Someone else opens another fucking stupid platform that just looks exactly like Threads or like X or like anything. It's called Blue Sky. And everyone said the same thing because everyone forgot 2 years ago. The same thing happened. And for some reason, they're expecting a different result or they did not remember that. It's very important to know that. Very, very fucking important to know that because that is at play against people. Okay. This is not an accident. This is on purpose. So now that your attention spam is destroyed, the last thing they gave you was we printed a lot of money, and that was great for everyone because everyone had money. People invested and made more money. People bought a lot of things and whatnot. You were able to buy a car that you couldn't afford, etc. But now all that money ran out, and this is why people are desperate. They want if you hear about interest rates and why people are so on the edge of it, I need the interest rates to come down. It's because they're broke as fuck. Not for anything else. They're broke as fuck, period. And it's the monster with a massive dick, the massive monster walking around, and they're being told there's no monster. That is economic doom. And the reason why we have economic doom is simple. There needs to be more poverty, always in the world. And it's so obvious if you think about it just properly, okay? And the reason why is we have unlimited money. Unlimited. We can print money. You don't even have to print it. It's just on a screen. You can create as much money as you want. But yet, there are poor people. There are people that live in extreme poverty, right? There are people that don't have enough anything. And people say, well, that's because money's scarce. No, it's not. It's just they don't want to use it for that so that they can make you keep working and make you keep feeling anxious and make you keep fucking up and living in this trap that you're living in. That's what they do. So money is stupid. So the problem is when there's a lot of money, what happens and why you get an economic crisis is to destroy a lot of that money so that you can make a lot of the people that are sitting pretty at home that were not maybe rich, but are not poor to go fuck themselves. And now that is happening right now. My biggest fear, and has been for 2 years, is that this is going to go longer than anyone expects. And by that, I mean, this is really just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, and nothing's going to change until literally there's like some sort of social unrest and people go nuts. We're already getting there. People are going fucking absolutely crazy and they blame it on a million things, but this is a big part of it. Their anxiety for not having any money. And also at the same time, they tricked all of those people. If you worked with a mortgage broker to buy a house or look for a house, the mortgage broker told you, dude, all you need to do is just buy a house right now. And interest rates are going to come down, and then the price of your house is going to go up, and you're going to be able to refinance and even pull more money out and pay less. Right? Because everyone knows a real estate agent that makes money off a commission definitely has your best interest towards the future. So that's a stupid lie, but everyone's falling for it. Right? Everyone fell for it. The same thing with the cars. Anything, like people are getting in debt on their credit card or anything, and your credit card payment, dude, it's like literally your credit card payment is so high that you want interest rates to come down. But like credit card payments are like 26% a year. It's an obscene amount. Even if they lower 3% the interest rates, you're still paying 23%. That is still stupid, and you'll never be able to get out of that debt. Never, unless something magical happens in your life, right? So that's important to know because on purpose, they're making everyone broker, promising, hey, use credit, buy a house, buy a car, you'll be able to refinance for cheaper. And right now, all of those people are going fucking bust. All of them. Everyone that bought at those high interest rates is going bust. And the thing is, the other lie that everyone, and you'll see your reaction to it, feel it inside of you, okay? When I tell you this, understand how you feel. It's very important. When interest rates come down, house prices are going to come down harder. I'm just going to say this right now. How does that feel? What the fuck are you saying? 2020 interest rates came down and house prices went up. No. 2020, house prices went down, and then they sent everyone $1,200 times 2. So if you had a wife, you got double that, or whatever the fuck it was, the math. But that was not the big deal. The big deal was the loans and the non-asking for you to pay your mortgage, your everything. So that created a fake wealth effect that was real, and everyone went and spent that money. And that's why the market recovered so fast, because we spent for that to happen, it's not just about cutting interest rates. They need to print like $14 trillion for you to understand that out of nowhere. Like, boop, $14 trillion, here you go. If they don't do that, you're getting more of a 2008. In 2008, they sent every idiot, again, $600. But you know what they didn't? They didn't send PPP loans to everybody to get like $10 million while you work and make more money and then invest it in all that stuff. They didn't do that. They did not do that in 2008, right? So in 2008, as someone who bought the bottom of the real estate market and lived it through and saw the whole thing and was paying attention and learning at that time, I'm telling you this. Everyone was feeling the same way that they were right now. This is impossible for it to go down. I have all these properties. Everyone wants property. It's hot. Property never comes down in price. It's impossible. And it can go higher and higher and higher and higher until it didn't. And right now we're at that stage where it's impossible for prices to come down. If you ask anyone, they'll tell you, no, prices in real estate are never going to come down again. They're going to print again. Inflation, blah, 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 blah. Same thing. That's what they're making you believe. But the reality of 2008 and what happened, which is going to happen right now, and it's going to take a fuck ton of time. It's not instant. So I'm doing this out of patience, out of love for what I do, out of love for playing the game, out of love for beating everybody else, and being the best, just being the most patient and just strike when I'm ready. I'm not going to be a boxer. If I'm a boxer and I'm getting into a ring with someone, I'm not going to be the guy that throws the most punches. I'm going to be the guy that throws the least amount of punches. But those punches that I throw are going to be the fucking hardest hitting motherfucking punches you've ever felt in your life. That's my way of looking at this. I'm not getting lost in what I'm doing. I'm just focused and zoned in for when the time is right, strike, strike, strike. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. 2008 comes and houses went down literally 50%. 50%. I bought my real estate buildings for nothing. Nothing. Like it's unimaginable right now how much I paid for my real estate back then. And even then you would say, well, prices came down. Everyone's probably buying a house and getting a loan. Interest rates also came down. Well, guess what? Because everyone's credit was completely fucked up. What they did is banks, when you go through a financial crisis, and they officially call it a financial crisis because we're in a financial crisis right now, but they're not calling it that. They're not ready to do that yet. To me, the announcement of that financial crisis is the end of 2024, 2025, beginning of 2026. That's when they announce it. When that happens and they lower interest rates in 2008, and they will in maybe 2026, maybe 2027, maybe 2028, and it'll be horrible if they do. The longer they wait, the worse it'll be. What they did before was the same that they did now. They got everyone in debt, use your credit card, get a mortgage, get this, get that. And then prices of everything collapsed. When the prices of everything collapsed, dude, 2008 was so bizarre for people that they were like, where'd the money go? If you watch the South Park episode, like, and it's gone. People didn't understand where the money went. And that's because in financial crisis, you disappear money on purpose. Because everyone that's leveraged up their ass, which is everyone you're watching on Instagram and doing all these bullshit and whatnot, all of those guys are going to be paying the consequences of this, okay? And when that happened in 2008, prices came down crashing, and people were like, I want to refinance. I want to do this. Value is lower, so you can't refinance. You're not positive. You owe the bank more. They're going to have to repo your house. They're going to have to repo your car. Your credit card, like, dude, you got to do something about it, declare bankruptcy, all that stuff, right? So what they did in 2008 was they increased the entry for anyone getting a loan or credit. So they made it way, way harder. Like, you needed to be God on wheels to be able to get a fucking loan or a mortgage in 2008, even though everything was cheap as fuck. Because banks come out with the bullshit. man, we got to protect ourselves. We got to protect ourselves. Everyone is not paying us. So we're at risk of shit. So what we need to do is protect ourselves. And we're only going to give loans to people that qualify. And trust me, no one qualifies for that. Like, it'll be very few people that can qualify for that, which is why I've been getting ready for this time. And I have the best credit score I've ever had in my fucking life. No debt to my name, positive equity everywhere, feeling good, right? So that when the discounts come, I can poach, I can buy, I can attack, right? And the reason why prices are going to come down when interest rates come down is the real estate investor, the normal person that bought a house, is not an investor. It's a person that's driven by emotions. Okay? That is the most important thing you need to understand about everything in life. And I want you to fucking really absorb this message. Really absorb this message. Because everything is emotional for them, fear will make them absolutely get fucked. And how is that going to work out? You wonder. Here you go. They're going to lower interest rates. And let's say that tomorrow they lower interest rates to 2% again, like or 2.7%, 2.6%, whatever the fucking lowest mortgages were back then in 2020. So let's say that they do that. Everyone that is stuck in a house that they purchased in 2020 or that has been wanting to move somewhere else, but higher cost of money, higher interest rates are not allowing them to make the monthly payment, are going to come up with the brilliant idea of, interest rates are coming down. I'm going to buy a new house, but first I need to sell mine. And everyone in your neighborhood, everyone is going to list their house for sale at the same time. And then people are going to say, yeah, but that doesn't mean prices are going to come down. Oh, yes, they are. Because when people are in fear and they see that nothing is selling at this price, and the neighbor across the street said, fuck it, I'm going to sell at a 20% loss, and that house sells, someone else is going to be like, fuck it, I'm going to lower my price to 20% less. And then that house is not going to sell. Why? Because buyers are going to be seeing people going, I'm going to lower, I'm going to lower, I'm going to lower. And you know, if you're a buyer and you're smart and you are an investor too that has done this for a long time, once people start panicking and selling and cutting prices fast, you wait. And it's going to get way worse. And it's a snowball effect that doesn't stop. Okay? So right now, that's what I'm seeing. And that's the scenario that no one believes can happen, which makes me even believe more that I'm going to be right about this. Now, again, I don't know. And I'm not here to be like, see, guys, I did it. Even if I nail every single move in this market, it's irrelevant. I'm not going to write a book. No one's going to make a movie about me. Nothing matters. And people will still call me an idiot, and my wife too. And I support it, by the way. I think it's absolutely true. So what I'm going to focus for my investments once the market starts to go down is stocks. The reason why I'm going stocks, and also obviously buy myself a house when I'm ready, when what I'm saying is going to happen. And it's going to take a while. Okay. A fucking while. Stocks normally bottom quick. The 2008 to 2009 bear market in stocks was September 2008, the top, and the bottom was in March of 2009. That quickly. If you bought March 2009, fucking set. Now, it didn't explode to the upside quickly, but it did go up and you instantly had more money. If you waited like just, what was it, 8 months, whatever the fuck it was, that's all it took. The bear market of 2022 was one of the longest ones, and it lasted about 10 months. So it's not a long time where this is going to fucking pick up and like go the other way around. You got to be ready to fucking jump in. That's the secret, right? So, because I know that, I want to invest in stocks. On top, businesses are failing, bankruptcies are skyrocketing, large companies are buying everything. Like you got a great company, that's awesome. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, those guys are going to come in and buy you out. Literally everything is going to be just a very few amount of companies. And I want to invest in those companies that I think are going to win at being the biggest company that does it all, right? And there's a few things that I'm looking at, and I'll tell you in a second. But it's very important to understand that. Um, Instead of like, oh, I'm going to invest in a business. I'm going to open my own business. Everyone's broke and will continue to be broke, and he's going to be even more broke towards the future, right? They're telling us that AI is going to bring all of these fucking wonderful things. You'll have nothing and be happy because AI can just create abundance and whatnot. Guys, there's a new group of rich people that are, everyone in tech that works for a tech company is making MBA salaries. Everyone. This is why Bugattis are $10 million now. When they came out with a $1.7 million Bugatti Veyron, literally people were like, that is ridiculous. That is insane. Who's going to buy that? No one. And literally no one did for a long time. And they came down all the way to $600,000 during 2008, 2009, 2010. And I know because drunk, I almost purchased one. That's how cheap they were. Because no one could buy that. Aston Martin came out with the Aston Martin 177. That was $1.77 million. Funny. But guess what? You could have bought a 177 again for $600,000, $700,000. Not that many months later. It's crazy. Do you understand what I'm saying? So back then, that was an insane amount. And now there's people buying left and right stupid fucking special editions of the same car over and over again. That's worth $4, $7, $12 million. That type of richness never existed before. There's now those people and the rest of us. Like I'm nothing compared to any of those guys that work in Silicon Valley. Nothing. Anyone that works for a tech company, a big tech company, and you're just not the janitor. Maybe the janitor makes more money than me. But for the most part, those guys are like a super mega rich, high class people. The only businesses that will thrive are going to be experiences and products for those people. So, and you already know what those products are. And if you want to create something that those people buy, you're fucked because that already is LVMH's job. That already is Bugatti. That already is Pagani, Koenigsegg's job. And all these massive companies that have a lot of money behind them, that's their job. So what's going to flourish? Just the big companies. And if you invest in stocks, you're going to fucking make a killing because we're getting into a new era where if I want to invest in Meta, Facebook, let's call it, if I want to invest in Meta, I understand that Mark Zuckerberg's going to run that company by himself with maybe 3 other humans. Maybe none. And the rest will be AI agents. And a lot of people are like, that's impossible. There needs to be at least some people moving the cables and whatnot. That's going to be the robots. So these massive companies are going to be able to run and operate in the most efficient fucking way possible. And that is so good for the stock market, even though it's not real. That is so good for the stock market and the stock price. Like, it's unbelievably good, right? Now, think about this. There's going to be companies that are going to be able to sell slaves, a brand new type of slave. And that's anyone creating AI agents. So you're going to have a slave in your computer. I used to have an assistant, right? Back in the day. And she did all my work. I was like, dude, Kay, can you please do me a huge favor? I have this contract. One second. I have this contract. Is there any way you can grab this contract and just put it all on the computer? And then she would take 2 days and she would plug in the contract in the computer. And then, hey, Kay, I need to fucking book some flights to go, I don't know where, and do this and that. Can you please do it for me? She would do it and ask me a million questions. And soon, that's all going to be just on your computer. Like, we're very close already, right? So that you understand that. But it goes beyond that. When humanoid robots come out, just think about Tesla for a second, because we're talking about slavery. So you have digital slaves. Then you have the next step, which is, for example, I have a Cybertruck and it's got the full self-driving thing and it's fucking unbelievable. It's unreal how good it is and how good it's gotten from the first version to what we have right now. It's my wife hated FSD, autopilot, loves it now. Whenever we go somewhere at night and she's driving back, well, she used to be driving back because I would get hammered. She would put it in autopilot and just let the fucking thing drive. And she would say, let's take your car so that it can drive us home. At that level of fucking amazing it is now, right? And now Elon is saying that the new one, just the version FSD 14, I believe it is, just feels human, period. And I know a lot of people, Elon, he's always hyping bullshit. use his products. And if you, instead of like saying, you know, it's always hyping bullshit, you would be loaded like others if you would have invested in Tesla. But instead, MSNBC told you that Elon is full of shit. Instead, you have an idea that a business should be able to provide a perfect product from day one. That a brand new idea that revolutionizes everything should happen overnight and in 30 days. And otherwise, it's a failure. You've all been trained to think that way. Everyone. It's on purpose. You're conditioned so that you can fall for all these fucking stupid things. So, right now, for $8,000, one payment of $8,000, I have a driver that can work for me 24/7. Okay? Soon I'll be able to send my car to pick up shit and bring, and it's going to come back. Like, that's very soon. There's already cars being, they exit the factory by themselves and then they go park themselves. Now they're starting with like self-deliveries, which means you order your car, you say it, and then the car just arrives at your house and then you just have your car. There's no driver, there's no tow truck, there's nothing, right? So soon you'll be able to also make money on the car, and that's irrelevant right now. But for right now, for $8,000 total, I have a digital driver, just like an AI agent. I have an AI agent driver. And that dude is never going to call in sick. He's never going to tell me that his wife left him, that he's sad, that he shat his pants, that, that he's hungover and can come tomorrow, or make any excuses to be a fucking idiot. For $8,000, I'll never have to hire a driver again. How much money do you need to have a driver 24/7? In the US, a lot. So guess what? This is what's happening with the cars. You're going to say, yeah, but the robots can't do that. Now think about this. Tesla is producing productivity. They're producing human labor now. You've never seen that before. Obviously, this is why I'm so obsessed with Tesla right now. Everyone's like, it's a car company. It's not like Ford. Like, you don't understand what's about to happen. There's FedEx, like, for example, Uber, Lyft, Waymo, everything will disappear because Tesla is going to be so cheap versus the other ones. And I know a lot of people still think that's impossible. I lived through the BlackBerry thing. People said it was impossible for those BlackBerry phones to disappear because no one would ever want just a digital screen to type on. I saw it firsthand. I lived through I was one of the first idiots that made a digital movie instead of on 35 millimeters. And when I delivered it to my sales agent, she was like, this is a fully digital movie? What the fuck? I was like, yeah. She goes, no one's going to want to buy digital movies, Alejandro, 35 millimeter. And everyone used to say the same thing. But guess what happened? Everything is digital now. When Netflix started sending me DVDs home, which was one of the first things that happened to me when I moved to the US, right? 2005. So around 2006, 2007, 2008, whatever that area was. I remember just thinking, these motherfuckers are sending me the movies that I would have to go to Blockbuster for and whatnot. And people said, Blockbuster will never die because humans want to go to Blockbuster, buy overpriced ice cream, buy all this, which, by the way, was an awesome experience. And it was a vibe, motherfuckers. Miss it. But guess what happened? They got fucked. Got fucked. In 2020, I come from the movie world, right? I make movies. I know how the market is drying up because before they used to offer me $10 million to buy a movie. Then it was 5, then it was 2, then it was 1, then it was, and right now it's like $200,000. On top of that, I myself, because remember, don't listen to what they tell you. I stopped going to the movie theaters. I started watching movies at home. We have incredible sound systems. We have incredible TVs. So guess what? I said movie theaters are going to go to shit and movie studios too. And especially when you compare it. Now people go, what am I going to watch? A $250 million movie by James Cameron that's an hour and a half long? Or am I going to watch this idiot talking for an hour and a half? And this video was free, technically. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no value in that anymore. Just like there wasn't value in that. So the same thing's going to happen to Uber, Waymo. You can clip this and in 10 years tell me I'm fucking retarded if I'm wrong. And you know what? I'll suck your balls. They're all going to go bankrupt. And the reason why is they're not the producers of this productivity. They need a third party buy it. So that means for them to make money, they need to do a surcharge. They need to charge extra. Why would you use that when Elon has already all these cars like flying around everywhere, right? It would be so stupid. But yet people are arguing about this, which is fascinating because no one learns anything ever, which is incredible, and especially not now. So I'll gladly use it again against them. And to finish this, you're thinking, all right, so Elon's going to have the new Uber. He's going to have the new drivers. He's going to have the robots that are going to take my trash out. I need you to understand the following, okay? FedEx, UPS, all of those guys, unless they can stick to what they do because of the planes that they own, they're going to disappear and Tesla will run along with Amazon, because Amazon also invested in Rivian, and not a lot of people are paying attention to Rivian. Rivian's going to go in the same path. Amazon is the only one, and Rivian, that can compete in that space. I don't know about China and all that shit. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. That's a market that is very tricky for us because everything that we know about China is a lie. Everything. So I don't want to get into that. But in America, there's only two. There's only Tesla and hopefully Rivian. But right now it's Tesla. So now the example of why FedEx and all of those guys are going to go bankrupt to Tesla, etc. Let's say that I have a fulfillment center. That means a warehouse where I put all my products, right? For all my clothing line. So there's a warehouse full of my clothing line. And I need to ship it to Target. So Tesla has a semi truck, like one of those full trucks where you can put all the inventory on the back, that drives itself. So it's going to drive from wherever it is to that warehouse, to my warehouse. 3 robots are going to be inside of the car, inside of the semi. They're going to come out. They're going to load up the entire truck with all the right products, and they're never going to fuck up, and they're never going to be late, and they're going to do everything right because they're robots. They're not fucking idiots. They're just robots. They're going to put everything there. They're going to get back in the robot, in the semi. They're going to charge themselves, and then they're going to go to Target. And they're going to, as soon as they get to Target, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to come up, they're going to put everything out, and they're going to put it in the right spaces. How can FedEx or anyone compete in that area? You can't, because you need to buy that technology. And once again, Tesla owns the technology, so they would need to add a surcharge. That means shipping anything on FedEx or anywhere else is going to be more expensive than just doing it through Tesla. So that's another point. And then you have jobs. Right now, the best jobs to have, and it's been like 5 years like this, being a plumber, being like someone that can build things, like someone that does manual labor. Those are the safest jobs right now. But the moment that robot comes out, now we have AGI. Like, people say this is not AGI, but let's go with that. Elon is saying that Grok 5 is AGI. Sam Altman is saying that AGI is here. So let's go with that. AGI. You don't understand how fast those robots are going to learn to be human. Because do you think what you do is really hard? Do you think moving around, opening a trash can and throwing your trash is really hard? Do you think right now you can have your Meta glasses? I have like those Meta glasses with AI. And I'm fixing something and I'm like, Meta, what is this? And it'll tell me. And I'll say, I have a problem. No water's coming out of here and it's blah, 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 blah. How can I fix it? And it'll tell me step by step how to do it. Now imagine when they just dump that into a robot. So now you have a robot that you can buy for $30,000 and never again have to have an employee. How much does an employee cost in the United States? Plus medical, plus I'm going to sue you because you looked at my ass the wrong way and you said the word faggot in front of me, so fuck you. And also I'm looking for a better job now because I deserve everything in the world. It's fucked. I won't invest in that. So what am I focusing on? Just to get to the point, I'm sorry that it took me 49 minutes to get to it. I apologize. God, I thought this, like, legitimately, I told my wife, let's go to the beach right now. It's going to take me 10 minutes, 15 minutes to make this video. Fuck me. So what am I going to invest in right now? I'm looking at Tesla. I'm looking at Rivian. Not only as car companies, because as car companies, what I like about them right now is the first thing that goes up when interest rates get lowered, and then eventually credit begins to open, are cars, not houses, cars. And which ones are the most punished right before that? Car companies. And specifically, this type of car company, to me, is the one that has the highest potential to go the fuck up. So Tesla, Rivian, big part of my portfolios. Big, massive part of my portfolios. Another one, I'm looking at anything that can get a digital slave into everyone's mind and make them addicted to using them, and they need it and depend on them. So now think about your calculator. Think about your phone. You don't memorize anything anymore. You don't know a single phone number. You don't know how to get anywhere because you're using computers. So you've outsourced your ability to retain information like we did back in the day to a computer, just like calculators did. We, instead of like, oh, look at all this calculus and all this bullshit that I need, fucking use a calculator and just get it done. We're using AI, and AI is taking away everyone's ability to critically think, which, by the way, no one could do it anyways, but now it's way worse, and it's going to get way worse, right? So at the same time, they're making us addicted to their products. Like, we're going to need it more in order to feel like we're part of something. And what does that mean? That means that the AI companies that have the most users digitally are going to do the best. Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI does a private offering. I'm going to invest heavily into that. I'm going to invest heavily into xAI. No question about it. Mega, mega heavy on those, right? And now a lot of you are going to say, Alejandro, should we invest in NVIDIA? I don't get that because I'm not a technical guy. And again, I don't want to get into the technical stuff. I don't understand how much of a competition they can get once everyone has AGI and ASI. I'm assuming that everyone will be able to make chipsets quicker and cheaper and faster and for way less money. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm not touching those. That was cool now. Like, that was cool already. Now I'm jumping into straight up who's going to create slaves and who's going to make people addicted and dependent on their technology that has the most reach. Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, xAI, Tesla, Rivian. The other thing that is going to be a massive piece of this is I made a video in 2017-16 for you guys that if you go back and look at the comments, shows you exactly what I'm talking about. I said, you've all been lied about this stupid green energy shit. Nuclear energy is the best one. But that government installed fear in all of you through many different things to make you think that nuclear energy is just so dangerous and so terrible. Look at the Hiroshima bomb and look at, right? All of those things. And now, unexplainably, and no one actually talks about this, nuclear energy is being actually activated everywhere in the world right now because we need it for the AI data centers. So what's the play? Small nuclear reactor companies. Oklo. I told everyone at $8. $8. Look up Oklo. OKLO. Look it up. Further than that, I'm going to invest in the financial system on Coinbase. Coinbase has a setup that's incredible. This is going to be a completely different video, but basically, Bitcoin was a Trojan horse to fuck us all in the ass and was brilliant. Like, I love these guys, dude. The more I see what they're doing, how they do it and how they execute their shit, the more I love them. Because this is not easy what they're doing, right? Making you believe that something is amazing when it's terrible. And now price keeps going up. Bitcoin's great for that. And trust me, price is going to continue to go up, so don't worry about it. Don't get your panties up in a bunch. But Coinbase is the new financial system, at least the door to the United States new financial system. So Coinbase, to me, very important, very important. And last but not least, what was the last but not least one? Coinbase. I mean, all of my other bullshit that I have, it's irrelevant, but I just want to focus on these for this period right now because I understand it better than I understand it, not better than anyone. I just understand it. And I'm not being driven by headlines or news or anything that I'm seeing. I'm not doing that. So I think my vision of it is pure, like with the BlackBerry, with like Hollywood Video and Blockbuster and all these things like nuclear energy and all that shit. And the last one would be crypto. I think Bitcoin's going to do well. I'm not very interested in that anymore. I'm more interested in, are we really going to use Ethereum as the base of all of this, which is the only one that has been announced? And a lot of people are going to say, XRP, bro, ISO, blah, blah, blah. Show me where it's being used and where it's being announced. Like, I want to know. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying right now it's not. Ethereum already, JP Morgan Chase owns, I think they own Ethereum, period. If you look this up, look it up for yourself. Vitalik deleting Ethereum's past. Look it up. Vitalik tried to delete the past on the blockchain and has talked about this because he's saying that there was not a lot of useful information back then because something strange happened and it's on record, right? And they want to get rid of that. Just look it up and get into that rabbit hole yourself. It's real and you can see it on chain. That's a beautiful thing. And the horrible thing about Bitcoin and all these things, you can see everything. It's terrible because guess who can see everything? Exactly. The people getting rid of the cash. So I would invest probably in Ethereum. Now, I'm starting to see, and this is where you need to become smart about how you're looking at the news. There's starting to be rumors that Coinbase is going to use a different blockchain on its own. I myself said for years, these guys should not use and probably won't use the tokens that we know, like Ethereum, Solana, or anything like that. Why? Because why would you depend on a third party when you can create your own chain? You can literally create any chain like Solana. You can duplicate anything. It takes nothing. You can copy paste it. That's it. And then obviously for scaling it and adding all of the validators and all that shit, that's different. But it's pretty simple. For any of those institutions, it's a piece of fucking cake, a walk in the park. So what I said was all these guys are going to come up with their own blockchain. And then they surprised me with Ethereum one, which I was already on the, Ethereum to me is like the important one right now. And it did. When everyone was saying it's going to go to $500, whatever, I was like, this seems to me like a very good opportunity to buy right now. And it was right now. Right now. Now, I'm not saying buy Ethereum today because it's pretty expensive and I don't know how that's going to go. What I'm saying is there's a rumor that all these companies that created a layer 2 on Ethereum is that they're going to go and do their own blockchain. If that happens, Ethereum is fucking dead. Dead, and it was a big distraction, like everything else. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm going to invest in. And like I said again, very important that you know your levels, very important that you know your technical analysis, or very important that you know your P ratios, or very important that you know the drops in percentages from the past so you can get some data and make the right decisions. Now, for anyone watching this and going like, dude, I'm never going to learn those things, it's rather simple. If you want to invest in Tesla, for example, I invest in Tesla when everyone is saying and giving ideas to Elon Musk as to Elon has to retire. He should not be the CEO. He doesn't know what he's doing. When 99% of people that are completely mentally retarded are telling the smartest motherfucking robot owner of this simulation or one of the owners or programmers of this simulation how to do his job after he's created all of that, that's when I buy. There's a dude that his name is Ross Gerber. He's like a big investor. He's one of the stupidest people I've ever read in my life. He sold Tesla at 140. 140 at the bottom of the last fucking mega drop. The last mega drop was 210. The one before was 140 and the one before was 100. At 140, this retard goes, that's it. I'm selling all my Tesla. I'm done. Elon doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I did? You know what I did. When I see stupid being stupid, I got to act because stupid calls my name. That's a good way of gauging it. And I know to a lot of people that's going to sound completely ridiculous and that probably doesn't work. It is the best way for me to analyze when I'm going to buy something. Swear to God. Just like right now, everyone's telling me it's impossible for prices to come down. Okay. Sounds good. Basically, that's it. I wish there was more in-depth how we're going to do this, but this is how I'm going to do it, and I hope it works for you.